Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Matt and I do like video games, and in today's video we're not on Series S. This is a Matt Likes Games original. We're back to making videos. And let's be real here for a second. We've got some catching up to do because the Game Awards just happened and there was a lot of awesome stuff at the Game Awards, and we're going to be recapping it here in today's video. So let's get right into it. Okay guys, and before I get into the announcements, the thing that everybody really pays attention to the Game Awards for, I mean at least the fans, they're there for the announcements, right? And before I get into that, I want to talk a little bit about the award show, okay? Because let me tell you something guys, as an award show, this show absolutely stunk. It sucked. It was terrible. And you might be sat there wondering, well, why do you think it sucked? Why was it so terrible? I'm going to give you one reason, and one reason only, because this is the only reason I need. That was one of the most disrespectful shows to developers I may have ever seen, and what was supposed to be a celebration of video games and the people who make them, they managed to just do nothing but disrespect them. In a year where games have been as impactful, as important, as historic as they have been this year, the fact that you can win an award and you might not even get to go up on stage, and if you do get to go up on stage, then you're up there for like 20 seconds and then they hit the music on you and then you gotta get off stage. But please, don't worry, we've got 20 minutes to talk to the Muppets. We've also got Geoff Keighley getting his bars off non-stop on this show. But God forbid a developer gets up there and thanks a few people for more than 30 seconds, then the show might just crumble to a halt. The show might just cease to exist if they give a developer a little bit more time to be thankful. And listen, let me be clear, I get it. I mean, you saw what happened last year, right? Christopher Judge went up there to accept his award for best performance for Kratos in God of War Ragnarok, and he talked for like 50 fucking minutes. I get it. You don't want that to happen again. And they even opened up this show with Christopher Judge making jokes about that, saying, it's not going to happen again. Isn't that funny? But they overcorrected so hard that they went from letting Christopher Judge talk for 50 minutes to now you can't talk for more than 30 seconds. And if you talk for more than 30 seconds, they hit the music on you and you got to get off stage. Listen, I get it. We're all there to watch the announcements, and Jeff's there realistically to sell us ads. I mean, let's be realistic. That's what it's about for Jeff, and that's what we're there for, is to see the announcements. But at the end of the day, people are working hard on these video games, and especially for something like Game of the Year. Baldur's Gate, Larian Studios gets up there, 30 seconds, you just won Game of the Year. You're an indie studio. This means the fucking world to you. You just won it, and you didn't even have enough time to announce that it was out on Xbox. They hit the music on you before you could even announce it. How insane is that? Show some fucking respect to the developers, please. But like I said, don't worry, because the Muppets can get up there and have their 5-minute segment. Matthew McConaughey can get up there and just ramble and ramble and ramble. And I get it, you know, he's in a game, it's coming up, he wants to talk about it, right? He's doing a little bit of promotion, nothing wrong with that, I get it. But dude, up there for minutes and minutes and minutes. Meanwhile, the people winning Game of the Year get 30 seconds and they're out. And if they're not out, then they're going to be forced out. Like, that's insane. Matthew McConaughey, he's a celebrity. He should not be getting more time at the Game Awards than the people who are making the games. The people who are the reason the Game Awards exist. He should not be getting more time than them. But now with the whole negativity of that aspect of the show out of the way, we can get on to what we're all really here for, right? What we're all really excited about, and that is the game announcements, the new game trailers, all that stuff. And in that regard, this might be the best show Geoff Keighley's ever done. I mean, let's just rattle off a few things. Kojima's game for Xbox, Project OD. We saw new God of War Ragnarok DLC coming out this month. Oh, and by the way, it's free. Coming out this month. Marvel's Blade. There's a new Marvel game and it's Blade. Oh, and by the way, it just so happens to be by my favorite developer of all time, Arcane Studios. That was the biggest moment of the show for me, and I am stoked, and we're absolutely going to be talking about that. Oh yeah, and Sega went nuts and announced 5 new games, one of which being the one I'm very much excited for, and that is Jet Set Radio. I love Jet Set Radio, one of the first games I ever played on my Xbox console when I was a kid, besides, obviously, Halo Combat Evolved. But Jet Set Radio is a banger, and I can't wait because, man, did it look good. We finally saw combat for Hellblade 2, the thing we've been asking for forever. We've gotten so many trailers for Hellblade 2, none of them have had real combat in them. Finally, we get to see combat for Hellblade 2, and guys, it looks phenomenal. We got an official release date for Space Marine 2, September 9th, 2024. The first Berserker also looked awesome. One of my favorites of the show, though, is something that not a lot of people are talking about, or at least I haven't seen too many people talking about, and that is Banishers, Ghost of New Eden. That looks awesome. But my biggest surprise of the show, or I guess my second biggest surprise, because the first biggest surprise we'll talk about momentarily, the second biggest surprise of the show for me was the new game by the developers of Ori, No Rest for the Wicked. You can see it in that gameplay trailer that they are the developers of Ori. There's a lot of that art style in that game, and it looks beautiful, and it looks fun as hell. There is a ton of stuff here to be excited about, but I don't want to make the video like, 30 minutes long, because I could easily do that talking in depth about all the things that I really love, but I want to respect your time. I want to respect my time as well and get to the big highlights for me. And I mentioned earlier in the video, the biggest highlight for me was Marvel's Blade by Arcane Studios. Now I'm just going to read this little bit here from IGN's website that they have about Blade by Arcane Studios. It says, Arcane Studios, the developer behind Dishonored and Deathloop, is partnering with Marvel to develop a brand new Blade game. It's going to be a mature, single-player, third-person game set in the heart of Paris. Development just started on Blade, so it could be a while until we see it again. Alright, so let's break that down real quick, alright? Arcane Studios, the developer behind Dishonored and Deathloop. That is something to be pointed out. That's something you want to specify. Because we know Arcane doesn't have the best reputation this year. But the studio making this game is not Arcane Austin, the studio that released Redfall earlier this year. It is Arcane Lyon, the studio that does Dishonored, Deathloop, and now Blade. But let's talk a little bit about this quote here, okay? A mature, single-player, third-person game set in the heart of Paris. Now, to the best of my knowledge, this is the first third-person game that Arcane will have ever done. Even after the game was revealed, they brought out Dinga Bakaba and somebody from Marvel to talk about the game. Dinga Bakaba being the studio head at Arcane Lyon, and man, he was you could tell he was ecstatic about being able to work on Blade. This was like a dream game to him. He even posted on Twitter afterwards saying that this is literally like a dream for him. And don't get it twisted, this guy came out confident. Just look at this photo that I took from a screenshot from the Game Awards. Tell me that guy doesn't look like he knows what he's got. That dude knows that they are cooking heat. And guys, listen, the Arcane formula opens up so much freedom for how you want to play it. You as an individual want to play. And having that Arcane formula mixed with something like Blade in a third-person game, it's going to be magnificent. The only thing I can say that is probably a negative on this is the fact that they said it here in this IGN article. It says development just started on Blade. So it's going to be a good long while until we hear anything else about this game. You figure maybe 2027, 2028 we have our hands on this game. So it will be a while until we have our hands on this game. And it'll even be a while until we see the game again, because this is just an announcement. This is just to let people know that this game exists. This is what Arcane is working on.
So please sit back, let us cook, and voila! Merci beaucoup! Merci!
And since this is an Xbox-centric channel, I'm going to be talking about the most hype moments for Xbox. And up first, after the announcement of Blade, is going to be Hellblade 2. finally getting to see combat for Hellblade 2, and man, it did not disappoint. It really didn't disappoint. The only thing I'm kind of disappointed about is the fact that we don't have a release date for Hellblade 2 yet, especially since Phil Spencer was being interviewed recently. I forget where that interview took place. I'll try to find it, and if I can, I'll have the information in the video here for you. But he was being interviewed recently, and he said that the game is a lot closer than you think. And I was expecting, after a comment like that, for them to come out at the Game Awards and have a solid release date for us, but unfortunately that's not the case. But man, the game looks phenomenal. It was all captured on Series X. That's probably the best looking game I've ever seen. I mean, again, it's one of those things, when we get our hands on it, we'll see for sure. But the way they're showing that game right now, the way it looks captured on Series X, that's definitely the best looking game I've ever seen. And then finally, you've got Kojima finally revealing the Xbox project. I mean, we knew this thing existed forever at this point. We've heard rumors of it. We've gotten confirmation of it. We've just never seen it until now. And it's called OD, and it looks really weird. I don't know what this game is, other than the fact that it is a horror game. It's a horror game by Hideo Kojima in collaboration with Jordan Peele. And apparently it has this all-star cast of celebrities in the game. So I'm definitely interested to find out more about this. But it's hard to get excited because with Kojima and his trailers, it's just, you kind of watch a Kojima trailer and you're just like, what the hell did I even just watch? And that's exactly how I felt watching this trailer. I'm like, what the hell was that? But it looks really interesting. I mean, all in all, this was a huge show for Xbox. And forget just the first party, and I guess in Kojima's case, the second party stuff for Xbox. Just focusing even on the third party. Because usually, I was talking to somebody, I can't remember if it was my buddy Ham who said this or my buddy Loke who said this, but usually in a showcase like this or the Game Awards, usually a lot of the games, or not a lot, but a good amount of the games are exclusive to PlayStation. That is usually the case. Whereas third parties showed out, and there's a lot of that stuff coming to Xbox. And that's something to be really excited about, because not only are we getting, you know, the first party stuff, we're going to get Hellblade next year, Avowed scheduled for next year. You know, Kojima just showed off his game. We'll probably not get that next year, but, you know, it's stuff like that where it's like, okay, we know this stuff exists. We're going to be getting this stuff. But on top of that, you get all the stuff that you would expect from third party. And that is just really good news for Xbox. And then finally, to end the show, you know, they end it with Baldur's Gate 3 winning Game of the Year, which again, throw back to what I was saying at the beginning of the video where they didn't give developers enough time for their speeches. They were going to announce that Baldur's Gate 3 was available, shadow dropped on Xbox, but they didn't get time to do that. But Baldur's Gate 3 also shadow drops on Xbox on that night. That is huge. It was a huge night for Xbox. It's a big win for gaming in general, because that show just kicked ass top to bottom as far as reveals and announcements. It was just an awesome, awesome show. But I want you to leave a comment down below. Let me know what your most hype moment from the show was, whether it's Xbox related, whether it's PlayStation related, whether it's third party, whether it's Nintendo. I don't give a shit. Whatever it is, leave a comment down below. Let me know what your most hype moment was. Leave a like if you liked the video. And if you're enjoying this kind of content and you want to stay up to date with it going forward over here on the channel, the best way to do that is consider subscribing. Consider ringing that notification bell, because that helps you stay up to date with everything that happens over here on the channel. And it helps promote me in the algorithm, helps push the videos out to way more people. And I always appreciate that. And with that being said, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.